back. A memorial service was held today in honor of the late Chairman Emeritus of TVB, Sir Run Run Shaw. As Evelina Leung reports, government officials and politicians were among those in attendance.
Sir Run Run Shaw's sons paid tribute to their late father in the memorial service today. It began at 10 this morning. Sir Run Run's wife, Mona Fong, was also there to greet the guests. Among those who came to pay their respects, the director of the central government's liaison office, Zhang Xiaoming, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying, and members of his governing team. Former CE Donald Tsang was also there. A number of politicians attended the memorial as well.
I think that Run Run was such a giant in the entertainment, in the film and TV industries, in the philanthropy. I'm sure he would be very, very fondly remembered and missed by a lot of people, from all these sectors.
I've known Sir Run Run since about 1990. In fact, he was the very first person who spoke to me about electrical. At the time, he was, saying, a young man like you should join the electrical. It was way before I had any thought about it. And I was embarrassed at the time. And we talked, and he said, I was saying, well, let's wait and see. And he said, but electrical can't wait. Those words really impressed me, yeah.
Members of the general public also made the way to Cheung Kwan-o to pay their last respects to Sir Run Run. This man said he did a lot of good things for society. This former TVB staff member said Sir Run Run treated everyone equally and that all the employees respected him greatly. Sir Run Run Shaw was one of the founders of TVB, which began free-to-air TV broadcasting here in Hong Kong in 1967. Tributes have been pouring in for the movie and TV pioneer since his death last week at the age of 107. Evelina Leung, TVB News.
More now on the policy address. Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam is calling for relaxed application requirements for a new subsidy scheme aimed at helping low-income working families. Meanwhile, a new survey has found that the public generally believes new poverty alleviation measures will be able to help those in need. Rani Samtani reports.
Speaking on a radio program this morning, the Chief Secretary for Administration responded to accusations that the government has ignored the middle class. Carrie Lam said that the government has the responsibility to allocate resources to the needy, but she agreed that the focus should not be on helping the disadvantaged alone. On Wednesday, the government unveiled plans for a $3 billion subsidy scheme for low-income working families. Lam believes the government can afford it, but added that she thinks restrictions on applicants should be more relaxed compared with other programs. A funding request for the new subsidy will be submitted to LegCo in July. Carrie Lam said she hopes lawmakers will approve funding immediately so that the subsidy can be implemented in the first half of next year. The Hong Kong Council on Social Service conducted a survey to gauge public opinion of the new poverty alleviation policies.
The low-income working family allowance, this has actually filled a very important gap, a very big gap of the social security system of Hong Kong.
The group's survey found a majority of the respondents believe the new policies will help low-income families. Also today, Welfare Chief Matthew Cheung made clear the government is working towards reducing poverty among the elderly.
We are not being complacent. Of course, we will continue to do what we can to help those who are needy so that public resources can be targeted to the really needy groups.
Cheung added that the government is working with NGOs to create 17,000 additional places in homes for the elderly and disabled. Rani Samtani, TVB News.
And Secretary for Food and Health, Ko Ing-man, says Hong Kong's first Chinese medicine hospital could begin serving the public in 5 years. The chief executive announced in his policy address that a plot of land in Cheung Kwan-o has been reserved for the project. But Ko pointed out today that more studies need to be conducted before the hospital is to begin operation. He said the government has to look at a number of issues, such as what types of patients the hospital can treat and how Chinese and Western medicine can be combined to treat them.
At yesterday's United Nations hearing in Geneva, Vatican officials faced intense grilling over allegations they shielded pedophile priests at the expense of victims. While the Vatican continued to deny allegations of a cover-up, it did admit it needs to do more to handle the priest sex abuse scandal. Sonia Artero reports.
History reveals the Catholic Church knew the problem due to complaints across the globe. This is why a UN Committee on the Rights of the Child pushed Vatican delegates to reveal the scope of its decades-long sexual abuse of minors by Catholic priests. Critics allege thousands of children were raped because of the Church's culture of cover-ups to defend its reputation. The Vatican denies covering up for the pedophile priests and maintains bringing them to justice is the job of local police.
It is not a policy of the Holy See to encourage cover-ups, but this goes against the truth. Only the truth will help us move on.
A statement instantly ridiculed by one victims group representative who said it's the Church who's obstructing justice.
The Catholic Church officials obstruct justice. They intimidate witnesses. They hide evidence and destroy evidence. They assist predators in sneaking across international boundaries.
Others were disgusted the Church only admitted to 30 sex abuse cases.
And obviously, the Catholic Church has 1 billion followers, and it has influence over a lot more children's life than these 30 that they mentioned.
In one case, a priest in Germany admitted to 280 sex abuse instances involving 3 boys. This victim is mad the Catholic Church doesn't get that they're silencing victims by covering up the abuse.
All these years later, it is still going on. Not one thing has changed.
While it has no ability to sanction the Vatican, the committee will offer its final recommendations on February 5th. Sonia Artero, TVB News.
Nearly 2,000 residents were moved to safety after a wildfire broke out in the San Gabriel Mountains of Southern California. 3 people were arrested. Residents were awakened in the pre-dawn darkness and ordered to leave. Many watched in horror as their properties were engulfed in flames. More than 700 firefighters rushed to the scene, backed by 70 fire engines. A fleet of helicopters and air tankers also helped by dropping water in flame retardant. Police arrested 3 men for recklessly starting the fire. The suspects allege they were tossing papers into the campfire when a sudden breeze spread the flames out of control. And it's a similar story down under. Dozens of wildfires are burning out of control in southern Australia. At least 1 person was killed. The Grampians National Park in Victoria was among the affected areas. Authorities said today more than 60 blazes are burning across Victoria and more than a dozen in neighbouring South Australia state. Officials say some of the fires in Victoria had been deliberately lit. Both states have seen temperatures topping 40 degrees Celsius in recent days. Residents have been advised to evacuate their homes. All right, Chris, over to you for more sports on hot weather down under.
Yeah, let's stay down, shall we? The scorching heat continues to make it a test of survival at the Australian Open. However, the top players have adjusted to the extreme conditions. No one better than women's top seed, Serena Williams. Here's Jameson Wong.
The heat not the only thing setting records down under. Women's top seed Serena Williams beat hot weather specialist Daniela Hantakova 6-3, 6-3 to advance to the 4th round. It was her record 61st win in Melbourne.
6-3, 6-3.
China's Li Na came back from losing the first set against Czech Lucy Safarova to win in 3. The scores were 1-6, 7-6, and 6-3. Serena now the weathercaster.
It's definitely a lot physical, but you have to be ready. Today actually wasn't as hot. I think it was more hot yesterday, so it wasn't as bad today. And honestly, on the one end, I felt it was like a cool breeze coming over, so that was a good sign.
On the men's side, quick, who's the number 3 seed? Nobody talks about him, but he just keeps winning. Spain's David Ferrer straight sets over Frenchman Jeremy Chardy. Jameson Wong, TVB News.
Snooker and Hong Kong's own Marco Fu saw his run at the Masters end with a quarter-final defeat to Sean Murphy 6-4. Fu led 4-1 at Alexandra Palace before the Englishman took 5 frames in a row. Fu had previously upset former world #1 Judd Trump to advance to the last 8. In 2011, Fu lost to China's Ding Junhui in the Masters final. Barcelona defeated Getafe 2-0 to progress to the Copa del Rey quarterfinals 6-0 on aggregate. In the second leg away match, Messi scored twice, including a second-half wonder goal. Just days ago, the Argentine finished runner-up to Cristiano Ronaldo for the World Player of the Year award. Midfielder Xavi Hernandez replaced Cesc Fabregas for his 700th appearance for the Catalans, and Brazil striker Neymar injured his right ankle in the match.
And finally for tonight, the world-famous London taxi is about to get a facelift, one that'll make it environmentally friendly. From 2018, all new London cabs must be capable of operating without producing any carbon emissions. Mayor Boris Johnson assures all 3 models sporting zero emission still have that look and feel of the iconic black cab. Johnson's push for zero-emission vehicles followed his decision to maintain an ultra-low emission zone in the city centre by 2020. London's taxi drivers offered only lukewarm support. They argue green-friendly vehicles are way more expensive. And that's the news for tonight. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
Good evening. It was fine and dry today. At 5 p.m., the weather was generally fine over southern China. And today's temperatures range from 12.7 to 18.9 degrees, and the current temperature is now standing at 17 degrees Celsius. The fire danger warning is yellow, and the fire risk is high, and the cold weather warning is now in force. So, Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow? Fine and dry tomorrow. Temperatures will range from 12 to 17 degrees. It'll be mainly fine and dry and cold in the mornings in the following few days. Tomorrow morning's air quality health index will be moderate to high, and the maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 6. And now to the latest global weather update. Sunny in Shanghai, cloudy in Xiamen. Bright in Guangzhou, sunny in Macau, cloudy in Chengdu. Sunny in Beijing and Seoul, cloudy in Tokyo. Sunny in Bangkok, cloudy in Ho Chi Minh City and Manila. Showers in Kuala Lumpur, rain in Jakarta. Sunny in Karachi and Mumbai. Rain in Cairo, bright in Nairobi. Showers in Brisbane, sunny in Sydney and Auckland. Cloudy in Toronto, bright in New York. Sunny in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Cloudy in London, Frankfurt and Zurich. And that's the weather. Have a great weekend.